What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to another Gyokeres video. Because when you thought it was over, it's not over. Actually, it's far from over. Apparently,
That's when I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
now on a serious note, excuse me, it is kind of like that. When we thought it was all over, it's not really over for a very simple reason. One, he doesn't really want to join Man U. Two, Arsenal are taking the time because they want Sesko. And three, apparently Sporting Lisbon are telling Gyokeres, well, go to Juve because Juve are willing to pay our demands or close to our demands. That's one. And two, actually, they also are willing, apparently, to pay your wages. So Gyokeres, make up your mind. Or should we say Juve, make up your mind? That's what we're going to talk about. Also, Oshiman update in the video as well. Smash the like button and let's go. Okay, so the news is from Corriere dello Sport, but actually English sources and Record from Portugal spoke about it as well, saying that Sporting are pushing Gyokeres towards accepting a Juve move because we are willing to offer close to 60 plus 10 million euros and bonuses, and no other club at this moment in time is willing to offer that. Also, the player is taking his time at this moment in time because obviously he prefers Arsenal for over a year right now, but he's open to a Juve move. It's not that if he joins Juve, it's like, yeah, because I just want to leave Sporting and that's about it. That's also not the case, you know? So the big question right now is he worth 70 million? Would you pay 70 million euros for Gyokeres? My answer, I think that's overpriced. I'm scared to pay that for Gyokeres. I'm gonna be completely honest. You know, I think he's a goal scorer. I don't care that he scored goal in the Portuguese league. I like the way he finishes his chances. Period. Is as simple as that. Yes, he's 27, turning 28. That's a lot of money. That feels like the Higuain type of deal we did back in the day was more money. But we kicked on his release clause and it worked out for 2-3 years. And then you kind of were like, okay, money gone. But at the time, we were so strong as a club that even when we said money gone, it was like kind of worth it. Yes, we should have won the Champions League. Maybe that was the goal. We lost against Real Madrid. But we were in a situation completely different right now. You can spend 100 million on a player and it's like, yeah, squad is set. We don't really need more. We didn't do that. But right now, when you spend 70 million euro on Gyokeres, you need to keep in mind, you also need to get something in return in value. I think you will get the goals, obviously. But two, he's a bit older as well. You need to take that into account 100%. Not saying that in 2 years from now it's a player who's 40 years old. I'm not saying that, you know. But the club is big on resale value, making smart decisions, making smart moves, etc. So one of them is this. You know, is it smarter to spend that money on him or on Oshiman? Again, update on Oshiman. Al Hilal is going to make another bid when the Club World Cup is over for Oshiman, who is still, should I say, I don't know if I need to call it hoping, but keeping the door open for Juve to jump in. And actually, Juve are in contact with Oshiman. Like every single source, name it, is saying that the club is still in talks for Oshiman. Not concrete talks because they want to. Oshiman is a difficult one. He doesn't really know what he wants. He wants to stay in Europe, but not really 100% certain. Nobody has a feeling it's 100% certain. Now, if we get Oshiman, I will be over the moon because he is my preferred option. I trust him more than any other name out there, purely because I've seen him doing it in multiple leagues. That's the simple reason, and I just like him as a player. That's that, you know. But if you are missing out on Oshiman because Al Hilal, is offering 50 million euros a season, and even Oshiman is like, I cannot refuse this. This is just insane money for the rest of my life, my family's life. Then you need to have a plan B. And you cannot sit there and be like, oh, Oshiman is gone. Now let's push for Gyokeres. And Gyokeres is like, well, I, in the meantime, accepted Man U because Arsenal wants Sesko. But you know what? It took way too long for you guys to really jump in. And then you're sitting there and you're like, well, we're going to spend 55 million euros on Retigi because we have no other solution, or we're just going to keep Vlahovic. Those are the dangerous situations you could occur. I know Di Marzio spoke about the Strasbourg striker. I forgot his name. Excuse me, because that cannot be relevant. Let's be honest. I know how Kamoli spoke. I said the number 1 on the list or the number 10 on the list. It's not a big difference because they have the closest same data. That's the only reason I think you can go from a player like Oshiman to a Strasbourg player, with all due respect, who scored 11 goals last season. You cannot do that. If you focus on a top number 9, those are the top of your list. Oshiman, Gyokeres, you fail to get them. That's on you. You cannot go, well, we're going to go for a project right now, because that makes no sense. Because you were pushing for a ready-made top striker to push on. If you miss out because you waited too long or whatever, or it was always unrealistic, so that's also a mistake to begin with, then you cannot go back and be like, you know what, we're going to start a project here with a striker. Maybe you turn out to be good, maybe not. You cannot do that, because you're just going to fail throughout that season. It's just hoping rather than having certain guarantees. Everyone can flop, but the likelihood of a proven player in the league as well to flop is not as high as a random player from a different league as well, who's not been proven to be a main guy. I'm not asking for my number 9 to score 30 goals. It will be amazing, but I don't need him to be the only one who scores goals. If he scores goals and everybody around as well, but if that's the focal point, only 30 goals and the other ones are not eating, what happens if we have an injury? So I don't need 30 goals from my striker. Fantastic. I just need 20, at least 20 goals in the league. That would be fantastic. That would be good enough. We didn't had a player like, what did Vlahovic at 9? If you have a striker who scores 20 goals, unless he scores 4 hat tricks in the season, which seems unlikely, 20 goals, that gives you about 10 points more, in my opinion, throughout the season compared to what we had last season. That's what I'm looking for. And Oshiman will give you that. Will Gyokeres give you that? Very likely, he will. Pens or no pens, I've seen Vlahovic, I've seen Morata miss pens for fun. You still need to kick in a pen. But in general, if you want one of these players, you need to start pushing right now. If you want Oshiman or Gyokeres, you need to be ahead of the competition right now. You cannot drag it on, because we are going to lose out and you're going to bag Vlahovic to stay, or you're going to bag Atalanta. For us, we're going to overpay for Etigi. Please take the big amount we're just offering you, because we are desperate. That can absolutely not happen. Anyways, do you think it's over? Do you think there's, like the meme says, just pulling us back in right now? Is it realistic that we're looking at these players? Let me know in the comments, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow for me for a match reaction, our first game. So let's see if we have something exciting to talk about.